you've talked about Frank Warren there. Your thoughts on also Eddie Hearn?
Eddie Hearn, I feel kind of sad for Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn is taking everybody's top quality guy. He's being the master of losing money, but more importantly, he loses the reputation of the gladiator that he has instead of extolling his virtue and putting him out there in front of the people so he could be lavishly praised and working, that it would have a common goal where he could be with the people, for the people, and by the people. He puts them in a position where they lose. They lose all the luster that they had and how they really worked up and did it. And so, I can help Eddie, because I like Eddie. He's young. His daddy's the son of Barry. You know what I mean? So, hey, why are we going to be fighting? Why is he going to let jealousy and envy, push him to the hilt? You know what I mean? That he loses his balance and his sense of being. You know what I mean? Come on, Eddie. You know what I mean? Come on home, man. Let's do it together. You know what I mean? Because right now he's got a record where everybody he puts in, from Joshua all the way down to that, everybody he takes over with, they get him because they're good conversationalists, and he goes through the gesticulations with the fighters, and he goes out there and he hollers and screams and whatever, you know what I mean? But he don't think, and so therefore he finds himself in a situation that is not good, you know what I mean? And then the result of that is that the person that he be, the prima donna that he be pulling in, everybody go out to see and see him great, he loses that luster, because he makes mismatches with the guy. I beg me not to put that guy when he lost here in the United States, with the heavyweight. I said, fight, I was going to sacrifice Trevor. I said, fight Trevor, you know what I mean? But he refused to fight Trevor, and then he lost, in his first appearance in America.
Against Andy Ruiz.
Yeah. So he need to learn. You know what I mean? He'll be all right though. I'm pulling for you, Eddie. I'm pulling for you. You know what I mean? So Eddie, he'll come around. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Matchroom. That's what they call this company. Matchroom. You know what I mean?
Those are the charismatic words of Don King as he states that he feels sorry for Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is a great conversationalist, but he makes mismatches, and that's the reason for his downfall. Every fighter that he's had, the big, huge stars, they've lost. And it's Eddie's fault, according to Don King. Let me counterpunch. I think when you are on the top, you won't stay there if you're a promoter. You have to take the wins with the losses, and after that, you have to know how to orchestrate the matchmaking. You have to know what to do with the fighter. You have to know what to advise the fighter to do after the fighter that is way up here, which he has the top fighters. He has Canelo, and he has Joshua, and he had Usyk, he had Triple G. He had a lot of these guys, but you have to understand, just like Don King knows, okay? Don't let him fool you. Once your fighter starts losing luster, okay, you have to be aware of that. And a lot of times you do bet on your fighter because, when your fighter wins, you win. The more money is, the more that fighter wins, the more he's promoted to be the next fight, the more money that he can get the next fight and as a result, the more money Eddie gets because he gets a percentage of what they make, right? So, he knows how the game goes. And I think with Don King has been where Eddie is. So you can't say he's never been there. He's not like a Leonard Ellerby. Okay, he is the guy it was only two major promoters back in the day, and that was Bob Arum and that was Don King. All in America, baby. It was those guys. Papa Bob and Papa Don. That's all you really had. You had smaller guys like the Duvas and the Ludabellas and those guys, but the major guys were those two. This is way before Al Heyman, okay? Al Heyman wasn't a Don King at that time. He's more like that now, but, Don King was charismatic and he knows. But the question you ask yourself is there any truth to that? Well, let's look at the Joshua-Andy Ruiz fight. This is what I think. It's unfortunate. Nobody could have saw that. Because this is what I do. I look at the person criticizing the other person and I say, okay, what if you put yourself in that person's shoes at that time? Okay. And him talking about fighting Trevor Bryant. Well, that was his fighter, of course, but that's vested interest because it's his fighter. It had nothing to do with him getting beat because he could have not he did not know. Who knew that Jarrell Miller was going to test dirty? Nobody really knew that. The way Jarrell Miller was promoting that fight and such, he was promoting that fight before, during, and after. Up to the point that, he popped dirty. But I mean, the guy was selling that fight. So why would you want to throw Trevor Bryant in there? Now, of course, when he did test positive and now he comes with the Trevor Bryant situation, well, nobody knew Trevor Bryant, just like nobody knew Andy Ruiz, and I think Don King is saying that because he probably knew, like a lot of people behind the scenes knew, that something was wrong with Joshua. They heard he got knocked out. They heard he had a bad camp. He didn't have a good camp. You've seen Anthony Joshua's face. His face was all busted up and he had, he looked like he was beat up. He looked beat up. Okay, so let's just call it how we see it. And I think him saying, oh, well, everybody he showcased, he loses. The fighters lose. Basically, he's calling Eddie janky, but he's trying to say that Eddie's a bad matchmaker. And I don't think that's the case. I think Eddie is a promoter. He does what those bigger fighters want him to do. Eddie has said it himself. He is not like Don King. He is not like Bob Arum. Those guys pretty much dictate who they want their fighters to fight. And if they don't, they probably won't come to an agreement and they'll probably throw any desired fight from that fighter out. Eddie Hearn is the different type of promoter. He's going to listen to what they have and what they want. He's going to try to deliver. That's the difference. And I think that's what Don King's not understanding. But again, Don King is where Eddie Hearn is now. Or Don King was where Eddie Hearn is now. Okay. And he sees like, hey, yeah, well, I was once there. And I think like any other guy that was once on the top or one of the head promoters or anything you're ahead of, you can only criticize that person that is currently doing that. And I see Don King doing that. I see him just coming at Eddie Hearn like, yo, this is, I think he's losing. It just looks bad and it doesn't look good. It doesn't. You had Canelo, you had Dillian White, you had Anthony Joshua. All of them took losses and all of them were promoted by Eddie Hearn. But understand, that's the way the game goes sometime, and it wasn't to bad matchmaking. In fact, Joshua Usyk was a mandatory. White Fury was a mandatory, and he really didn't even promote that fight. You see what I'm saying? That fight wasn't even promoted from him anymore. So, but he threw him in there just to, make that resume just that much worse. You see what I mean? And that was a BT promoted fight all the way through. Okay. Now is the Joshua Ruiz fight. That could have been anybody that got a good punch off Anthony Joshua if he was in fact concussed. Okay. So we have to clear that up right now. That could have been Jarrell Miller. That could have been Trevor Bryant. That could have been Michael Hunter. That could have been Luis Ortiz or whoever would have stepped in for that particular fight for Jarrell Big Baby Miller. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Don King saying that he feels sorry for Eddie Hearn and he doesn't think. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.